ladies? So, hey, Rachel. So this is still your part, okay? You read, we all read, you read, we all read. Okay? All right? So this is still you? Well, you keep going, but we're supposed to come in, okay? When everybody does the group songs, you just go to the podium closest to where you're sitting, and you can sing the others. Okay? And you just do whatever it is you do. I'm like so proud of you. It's a big deal. This is great. And your mom and I have a plan. I told Maggie about it. So excited. Okay, so who did I gave that to Tyler. So, right, so that, yeah, because tell Tyler now. Do you want a bagel or anything with everybody else, or you just want? All right, or just, which service, just, here we go. Okay, you have your service already? Okay, cool. All right, let me just tell Tyler then. Okay, so Magda, I'm gonna get Tyler something. Tyler?
Yes.
But I want to give you another part now, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So. So.
3, I think.
I don't remember off the top. I don't remember. I mean, Tyler's original part was on 301, and he still has that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I practice in the part, and I practice saying the dog.
Oh,
So forgetting to say that.
right. You kept dropping the does. I know. It's funny.
Is Hudson coming?
No, I don't think so.
It's
Eternal. But if you say eternal, if people say eternal. People say eternal. It's okay either way. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Great. Okay. I found my question. Where would you go? Eternal teacher. Okay, so you go mitzvot. Okay. So when I get to here, I'm going to say, now we invite up Tyler.
okay, and then I'll start reading, and then turn the page,
Uh-huh.
and then read to
Giving.
giving.
And then I'm going to stop, and I'm going to have everyone come back up and do this prayer. And you just stay there. All right? So I put you in on 325. Okay, let me write in my book now. Wait, is that my book? No. 325. Hey, everyone silence your phone. Okay. Did you guys, silent, or even you could even give your phones to your parents. I mean, just saying. Okay. Yes, you can. I know, that's the groom side. Magda, you sit on that side.
So, so should we start? Or
I think we can.
we can start? Okay. So the whole point of this service is to continue to get everybody comfortable being on the bima. Are we waiting for two people? So Hannah, do you mind moving over? Can we fill in the spots? Hannah, it's okay. Here we go. You took a shower. All right, here we go. Okay, great. Okay, the whole point of this service is to get everybody more and more and more comfortable being on the bima, being in front of the microphone, and literally immersing yourselves in the Saturday morning service, which you're going to be leading when you become bar and bar mitzvah. So the first thing that we do at that service is a family member presents you with a talit, okay? So you guys will learn to read the talit blessing. We've gone over it a few times, but like many things, you might not have been paying attention, okay? So, usually it's a grandma, grandpa, a parent, an aunt, uncle. Sometimes people buy a talit for the experience, or sometimes people have a family talis. It doesn't matter, okay? Sometimes there's a talit that gets passed down in the family, grandchild to grandchild. That's okay too, whatever you do. So when that happens, though, we're going to have you be in front of the ark, and whomever is giving you the talit is going to open it up like this. And mine doesn't have the blessing on it, but a lot of them have the blessing written right on the neck. Okay? So we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu b'hit atef batzitzit, which means, blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who commands us to wrap ourselves in the fringes. Here, fringes, see? All right? And then we put it on. So your grandma, grandpa, mom, aunt, uncle will put it on you at that point. Okay, and that's when we start the service. All right, so we're going to be on page 290 in your blue prayer book, and they're in the Hebrew direction. So the prayer books go from right to left. Come here, Luke. So the prayer book's going to go from right to left, and much of the Hebrew today, and I'll be specific, your child will hopefully be helping to lead that Saturday when they become bar bat mitzvah. So we're going to begin on page 290, and I ask you guys to come and start us with Matovu. Let everybody in, okay?
Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael.
Va'ani berov chesdecha avo v'techa eshtachaveh el heichal kodshecha v'yiratecha. Everybody?
Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov,
Ohalecha
Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael.
Adonai ahavti me'on beitecha u'mikom mishkan kevodecha v'ani eshtachaveh ve'echra evrecha lifnei Adonai hosi.
Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matovu, Ochalecha Yaakov, lecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael.
Va'ani tefilati lecha, Adonai et ratzon, Elohim berov chesdecha, aneni bemet yishecha.
Ma tovu ochalecha Yaakov, ochalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ochalecha Yaakov, ochalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael.
We're on page 291.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom, you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network, wondrous maker and sustainer of life. Were one of them to fail, how well we are aware, we would lack the strength to sustain life before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength. Adonai, Roeh, Omar, Mountain.
And we're going to ask your dad to come up and say a few words now. You could use either podium, John.
About what my bar mitzvah meant to me. Or,
Yeah, whatever Magda said in her prom.
okay.
Okay.
Right, am I right, Magda?
About yours.
Okay. So I think, I was thinking about this morning. I think that I had a bar mitzvah. I went to B'nai Israel, and I had my bar mitzvah at the Channel Club in Monmouth Beach, and it was an amazing party, amazing bar mitzvah service, and all of my family and friends came. I had it with my brother because he was adopted, and we're less than a year apart. So we had a B'nai mitzvah. But I think that I really didn't realize the true importance of it and appreciate it as much as I should until I was much older and an adult. And I think what I want for Luke is, and I see he's, a 12-year-old, and he tries, and I think he's kind of where a lot of kids are, where I was. He doesn't really, he's excited about it, but I don't know that he fully appreciates what it will do for him. So all I really wanted to do by having Luke join the temple with me and have a bar mitzvah is give him a sense of that feeling that I felt just once I was older. I realized it. I said, just passing down the culture and the traditions and the symbolism and ceremonies that we do as Jews. So I'm very excited.
Thank you, John.
We're on page 292.
Everyone go up.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi Tehorah. Again. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi Tehorah. Everyone sit down. Let's.
The soul that you have given me, O God, is pure. You created it and formed it, breathed it into me, and within me you sustain it. So long as I have breath, therefore, I will give thanks to you, my God and God of all ages, source of all being, loving guide of every human spirit. Baruch atah Adonai, asher bayado, nefesh, kol chai, baruch kol basar ish.
I want to commend Lexi, who just started studying Hebrew this year.
Lexi's grandfather, Joseph Grossman, was born in Stepan, Ukraine in 1933. He came from a religious family where his mother, Lexi's great-grandmother, Chaya, was part of was the record keeper, not just for the shul, but for the entire town. It was a very, very small town. And he always talked about how excited he was to become a bar mitzvah. Unfortunately, if you were reading the date of his birth, he was orphaned during the Holocaust and never got to celebrate his bar mitzvah. He and Lexi had a very, very special relationship. They bonded in a way that only a grandfather and a granddaughter can. And they shared all sorts of private moments and time, and nothing was more important to him than for her to one day become a bat mitzvah. So that is why we are so honored that she chose this journey and wants to do this, and we know her grandfather would be very proud, as are we.
Thank you. We're so glad to be part of that. We're going to continue on page 293. Our class will lead us in the recitation of the daily miracles. When everyone gets there, we'll start. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasek v'vina lehakim ben yom u'ben layla.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Pokeach Ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam
Matir
Asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Zokef Kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam
Rosh ha'aretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam
Hamechin mitzadei gaver.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Hanoten laya'ef koach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Hamavir shena me'enai utnuma me'afapai. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam
Shasani b'tzel Elohim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shasani b'tchurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shasani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Ozer Yisrael b'gvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Oter Yisrael
b'tifara.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam
Asher
kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu
la'asot
l'chasot
divrei
Torah.
We are in 297. I sit down. Is Aiden and Hannah stay there? Aiden. You. This Aiden.
What do I read? I just stay
Okay.
here?
Oh. It's Aiden Patterson. Sorry. Thank you. They know better than me. Okay, go ahead, Aiden.
Adonai our God, make the words of your Torah sweet to us, and to the house of Israel, your people, that we and our children may be lovers of your name, and students of your Torah. We praise you, O God, teacher of Torah, to our people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, hamlamed Torah le'amo Yisrael.
And now we're on 298. Wait, no. Hannah reads? Hannah reads. Whatever I said, I meant 298. I have no idea what I said. Okay. It's anything's possible.
These are things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world while the principle remains in the world to come.
How about starting again?
Okay. Sorry. These are the things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study, morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for the burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all.
We are on page 300.
For our teachers and their students, and the students of the students, we ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say amen. And for those who study Torah here and everywhere, may they be blessed with all they need, and let us say amen.
Amen.
We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say
Amen.
amen.
So my family is a mixed family, right? Technically, I'm first generation American. My mother came over from Poland as a young child. My great-grandfather, my father's side, came over in 1901. So kind of mixed family, but Eastern generation from Eastern Europe. And I was technically, so on my mom's side of the family, I'm technically the first bar bat mitzvah, right, coming over. On my dad's side of the family, I'm second generation. But it was hugely important for me to become a bar mitzvah in my family, especially for my mom, because again, like similar stories to many of us, her parents were persecuted during World War II and were able to escape from Europe by being tailors for the SS, and they were able to escape getting out of Eastern Europe due to their talents. So for me, when I was a young kid, their age, all of this was kind of irrelevant, right? And I'm growing up, I'm gonna get to become a bar mitzvah, and exciting time for me. My grandfather was throwing me a huge party, which I was very excited for. But later on, to some of your points, right, the meaning of it comes to you, right, as you start to grow up and you become an adult. And so I'm super excited for Hannah and Aiden to continue the traditions in our family, become B'nai Mitzvahs here in a year or so, and again, be able to continue the Jewish traditions that have been set forth for generations before us. And so with that, I wish this whole class the very best. It's amazing to see them come along. So thanks.
Thank you, Jack. We are on page 301. Baruch she'amar
V'haya ha'olam, Baruch Hu, Baruch Oseh V'Reishit, Baruch Omer V'Reiseh, Baruch Gozer U'Mekayim, Baruch Merahem Al Habriot, Baruch Merahem Al Habriot, Baruch Mishalem Sachar Tov Lire'av, Baruch Chai La'ad V'Kaya La'netzach, Baruch Podeh U'Matzil, Baruch Shemo.
Blessed is the one who spoke and world came to be. Blessed is the one. Blessed is one who continually authors creation. Blessed is the one whose word is deed. Blessed is the one who decrees and fulfills. Blessed is the one who is compassionate towards the world. Blessed is the one who is compassionate towards all creatures. Blessed is the one who rewards the reverent. Blessed is the one who exists for all time, ever enduring. Blessed is the one who redeems and saves. Blessed is God's name. With songs and praise, we extol you and proclaim your sovereignty. For you are the source of life in the universe. One God, life of the universe, praised and glorious ruler. Your name is eternal. Blessed are you, Adonai, sovereign.
who is glorified through praise. Baruch atah Adonai Melech Mo'um B'Shabbat.
We continue on page 313 and ask the congregation to please rise. Baruch Hu
Et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam.
Yoser or Uvarei Hoshech
Oseh shalom uvarei et tahol. Hameir la'aretz v'ladarim alecha b'rachamim. Utuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid. Ma'aseh v'reshit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai. Kulam b'chokma asita. Mala ha'aretz kinyenecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu. Al sheva ma'aseh yadecha. Ve'al me'orei or she'asita yifa'arucha selah. Or Hadash al Tzion Ta'ir, Benizkeh Kulanu Mehera La'oro, Baruch Atah Adonai Yotzer HaMerot.
Everyone remains standing. You can go back to your seats except for Austin.
The world is sunlight, restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to the eyes. More welcome than gold, a Torah from heaven. I have no light to give the morning, my Torah, my special human gift is words. As I bring my words forth from silence, welcome them, who you redeems the sun from darkness. Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer HaMevorach.
We are on page 317. You remain standing, and Aaron goes over.
O God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in 1,000 tongues for us to hear. In every land and every age, your children have heard you and imagined you in separate ways. And yet, O God, you are one, unifier of humanity.
Together, we give thanks for the sages and teachers who bring us understanding of your will. Gratefully, we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalmists and sages of Israel, and joyfully remember that from the dawn of Israel's life, we would turn to you and find purpose.
May the teaching of our ancestors live in our minds.
Aaron reads, go ahead.
And the passion for our righteousness stir our hearts. Help us to live so that our daily conduct reveals the beauty and wisdom of your truth.
Baruch atah Adonai, habocher be'amo Yisrael v'ahava. We are on 318, and all the youth could please go to the podiums.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kevod Malachuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
The congregation may be seated.
You may be seated.
Ve'ahavta
Et Adonai Elohecha, B'chol levavecha, V'chol nafshecha, V'chol me'odecha, V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, Asher anochi mitzavecha, Hayom al levavecha, V'shinantam levanecha, V'dibarta bam, B'shivtecha b'veitecha, Uvlechtecha v'derech, Uv'shokmecha uv'kumecha, Uv'tavtam le'ot al yadecha, V'hayu l'totafot beit einecha, Uv'tavtam al mizuzot beitecha, Uv'yisharecha, Ma'an tizkaru, V'asitem et kol mitzvotai, V'tem kedoshim le'lochichem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher chotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, V'hiyot lechem le'elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Or you guys can sit down. We invite Julie to come up. And you go after that, Austin.
I have a little
That's great.
notes.
Just pull the mic down a little.
Oh,
Okay, there you go.
So a few things. I remember preparing for my bat mitzvah. I also went to Congregation B'nai Israel. And I remember every week going and practicing with the cantor and it being really hard. And I remember, some moments were some tough weeks. But I remember how I felt on the day of my bat mitzvah and feeling, what a huge accomplishment. I think it's really special to achieve such an audacious goal at such a young age. So I hope that Aaron and his classmates all, have that sense of accomplishment. The one thing I will say that's really special for me is that Aaron will actually be reading the same portion that I had for my bat mitzvah. So I think, it will be a really awesome journey for the two of us to practice together in the same portions. And the one thing I want to echo, I think some of the other parents said that, I don't think, although it was a very huge accomplishment at that point in my life, I think I didn't really sink in, what it meant to be a Jewish adult at that time. I think later in life, as I went through USY, which is a youth group, and I met other Jewish people on my life journey. Went to Israel, met lifelong friends there. I think it really started to sink in, and much so now that I have a family, to see, those awesome traditions that we can pass along. So I think, for these young kids, it's awesome to have this experience, but I think, as they continue down their life, they'll really appreciate it a little bit more. So,
Thank you.
that's it.
Beautiful. We are on page 319.
Love Adonai, your God, with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children, talk about them at work. Whenever you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God.
We are on page 321.
Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles and earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
And together on 322, we sing our song of freedom. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar hakodesh, nora tehilot osei felem. I ask the congregation to rise, and we continue on page 323 with our Amidah prayer. Adonai, sepenatita, ufia gitilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. 324. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zoher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham, V'Yezrat Sarah. We're on 325. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה כל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים דרופי גולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידה מלך, מלך ממית ומחייב, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayei hakol. Okay, let Tyler in over there. He's going to read the bottom of 325. You guys stay there, though. Stay there.
You are the open door that beacons me in. Peeking around the door frame, I begin to enter into your glory. You move me forward, O eternal, to step beyond my self-made boundaries. Lift my foot over the threshold that I might abide with you in the house of eternal. I found my question waiting to be posed. They filled me with wonder. Sit with me, eternal teacher. Encourage my seeking as I fill my hours with your mitzvot. So shall I be filled. Send me through your door, stretching up to honor your name, sharing out this wonder, and reaching myself in the giving.
We continue on the bottom of 326. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, keshem shimakdishim oto b'shmei marom, kakatuv al yad nevi'echa, v'kara ze'el ze ve'amar. You guys, we practice ze'el ze, remember? Okay. V'kara ze'el ze ve'amar. All right, now we're going to do our releve. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tsevaot, Melech kol haaretz kevodo. Please be seated. So I don't know who's coming from the Zone family, but now is your chance.
So, my wife wrote something, but I'm actually going to go off the cuff.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah. I hope so. I hope so. So, I was sitting here thinking about my bar mitzvah and how difficult it was to actually go through all the stages and to, I never thought I was going to be able to actually read Hebrew, know what I was saying, and learn the tradition of being a Jewish boy into a man. Till this moment, I think. It actually hit me. So you guys being, B'nai Mitzvah, doing it together is actually pretty cool. So we're proud of you. Mom and I are proud of you, and I promise you'll get through it. All right? So that's it. Thanks.
And Corey was at my bar.
Really?
Yeah, 37 years ago.
That makes it very old. 7 years ago.
7.
7 years ago. 7.
Corey's taking advantage of me because she knows, as a math teacher, she knows I'm terrible at math. So I'm just taking your word for that, Corey. Okay. So we're going to continue on page 328. Our class is going to lead us in Vishamru. No. Aiden is going to read the bottom of 328, and we're going to sing on the top of 329. So go ahead, Aiden. 328. Yeah.
The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven on earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and it was refreshed.
And now we're going to invite up your mom.
Okay, so on the cusp. I had my bat mitzvah at Channel Club as well, so that's kind of funny. Went to Temple Bethel, which was conservative and stressful. There wasn't a lot of smiling and joy and fun things for us to do, so it made it very difficult to enjoy the process. I love that the kids together are being able to practice this and come in front of us and try it before the real day. Because that was something I definitely missed out on, and it made the nerves even that much stronger. I'm very proud of all of you for being up here today, reading in Hebrew and English, because I know both in public are a tough thing to do in 6th grade and 7th grade. But I just wish them all the joys and in making sure that you accomplish each step and be proud of each step that you're taking. So whether it's learning the new prayer, whether it's aliyah by aliyah as you're learning your Torah portion, make sure that you're proud of each step of the way. And like us, when you're much older, you'll be able to appreciate it a lot more when you're standing in our shoes. So good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And now the class is going to lead us on the top of 329. Right, and the singing of Yismachu. Yai Brahma Bai Shabbat Shabbat. Yai Brahma Bai Shabbat Shabbat. Yai Brahma Bai Shabbat Shabbat. Shabbat 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 Shabbat. Yismachu Yismachu v'malachutecha. Yismachu Yismachu v'malachutecha. Shomrei Shabbat Shomrei Shabbat. V'korei oneg oneg Shabbat. Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg oneg Shabbat. Amikadashei Shvi Shabbat Shabbat, Amikadashei Shvi Shabbat Shabbat. Kulam yisbehu ve'yitanu mitu becha Shabbat Shabbat. Yai Brahma Bai Shabbat Shabbat. Yai Brahma Bai Shabbat Shabbat. Yai Brahma Bai Shabbat Shabbat. Shabbat 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 Shabbat. Yismachu Yismachu v'malachutecha. Yismachu Yismachu v'malachutecha. Shomrei Shabbat Shomrei Shabbat. V'korei oneg oneg Shabbat. Shomrei Shabbat Shomrei Shabbat. V'korei oneg oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi ratzita bo Shabbat Shabbat. Ratzita bo v'kinashto Shabbat Shabbat. Chemdat yamim oto karata. Zecher l'maaseh v'reishit Shabbat. Yai Brahma Bai Shabbat Shabbat. Yai Brahma Bai Shabbat Shabbat. Yai Brahma Bai Shabbat Shabbat. Shabbat 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 Shabbat. And we are still on 329. Everybody sit down. Aiden Patterson. Aiden Cohen.
Those who keep Shabbat by calling it a delight will rejoice in your realm. The people that hallows Shabbat will delight in your goodness. For being pleased with the seventh day, you hallowed it as the most precious of days, drawing your attention to the work of creation.
The meaning of Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week we live under the tyranny of things of space. On Shabbat we try to become attuned to holiness in time. It is a day on which we are called upon to share in what is eternal in time, to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creation to the creation of the world. Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh ha-Shabbat.
We're on page 330.
On this Shabbat day, as you graciously receive our prayers, help us hear your call. Grant us enough health to fulfill our duties and the compassion we need to attend to others. Teach us humility that we may perceive our own faults, and grant us the wisdom to be forgiving of others. Give us the courage to be true to our highest selves and the charity to see the best in those around us. Give us patience enough not to become discouraged, hope enough to overcome all fears for the future, and faith enough to know your presence. O source of blessing, look with favor upon us. May our offerings be acceptable to you. Bracha Taronai, Shitotcha, Vivetach, Bir, Navot.
On page 332, when their child becomes bar bat mitzvah on that Saturday, you have a reading part in English, and it starts in the bottom of 332, and it goes all the way through 334. So parents, I'm going to have you lead from your seats. You read each little paragraph, and we answer Modim Anachnu Lach each time. So you guys begin on 332. For the expanding Modim Anachnu Lach. 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 Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulchana lahodot. And I ask the class to come back and lead us in the singing of Sim Shalom, of 334. Sim Shalom, Tova uvracha, Rachamim v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael lamecha. Barneinu yotzreinu kol manu kehad, ve'or panecha, ki or panecha natata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu. Sim Shalom. Tova uvracha, Rachamim v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Torat chayim ve'ahavat chesed, ve'ahavat chesed, u'tzedaka uvracha ve'rachamim ve'chayim ve'shalom. Sim Shalom, Tova uvracha, Rachamim v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Ve'tov, ve'tov be'einecha, levarech nemcha Yisrael, v'chol eit u'chol shah, Bishlomecha. Sim Shalom, Tova uvracha, Chen v'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. We are on page 337.
Prayer is not purely an act
All things pray, and all things pour forth their souls. The heavens pray, the earth prays, every creature and every living thing. In all life there is longing, creation itself but a longing, a kind of prayer to the Almighty. What are the clouds, the rising and the setting of the sun, the soft radiance of the moon and the gentleness of the night? What are the flashes of the human mind and the storms of the human heart? They are all prayers, the wordless outpouring of boundless longing for God.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
I did prepare a little speech. I was raised in a Reformed Jewish home. My family considered themselves very traditional. We celebrated the holidays, and my dear brother, who is here today, he was a bar mitzvah. Being a girl then, it was not looked upon as important for me to be a bat mitzvah. Nonetheless, I had always had a very strong Jewish identity. Interestingly, our mother was raised in an Orthodox home, and our dear grandparents, who were German Holocaust survivors. My grandfather was in Dachau when it was a work camp, and they were able to get out of Germany and arrive here in 1941, and our mother was 6 years old. And my grandparents were Orthodox, and they kept a kosher home and celebrated Shabbat, and we did all the holidays with them. And I believe that that was what created my very strong influence and lent itself to my deep connection to Judaism. That is why it's so important that I pass this on to our son Preston. My wish for Preston and all of the B'nai Mitzvahs is that he has a Jewish education and becomes a bar mitzvah. My hope is that he continues to embrace his journey of learning about our faith and our heritage, because it is so rich. And Preston, know that Grandma is looking down at Kvelling, as we all are, and we are so proud of you, Papa.
At this time in our service, we have the Torah service. And Kayla, it won't involve any Hebrew, but if you could help me with the Torah service, I'd appreciate it. So come on up. And you guys can all leave your service here and go down and sit with your families, okay? And don't look at your phone, okay? Stay present, okay? So, and again, everything Magda and I planned today is because this will be happening when you become bar mitzvah. And Kayla had a bat mitzvah not so long ago. So we're on page 362, and we ask you to rise, and Kayla and I are going to open the ark.
Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kema'asecha malhutecha malhut kol olamim umemshaltecha bechol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai Oslemo Yitain, Adonai Yivarech et Amo Vashalom, El HaRachamim, Heitiv HaVirtzonecha et Zion, Tivnei Chomot Yerushalayim, Ivecha levad batachnu, Melech Elram v'nisa, Adon olamim.
And together we sing the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. So same as your bat mitzvah, you're going to go around and bring the Torah around, okay? All right? And if you want, you're all allowed to touch the Torah and kiss your hand or prayer book or however you do it. Lecha Adonai hagedula, v'hagevura, v'hatiferet, v'hanetzach v'hahod, ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz, ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz, lecha Adonai amalacha, v'midnaseh lechol rosh. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, ha'olam omein. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, ha'olam omein. Al ha'torah, ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al gimilut chasadim. Want to lay it down here? Al ha'torah, ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al gimilut chasadim. Ve'ha'ernenu b'toratecha, v'dabek leveinu b'mitzvotecha, ve'yachil levahavenu le'ahava u'yirah et shemecha. Do you hear how loud this mic is actually? And how I have to make it so loud for the kids? And it's way too loud for me. As a point of instruction, Kayla came back to you, right? No problem? Because she was a COVID person, so we weren't bringing it out then. But her family comes to enough services that she could get it. Good practice for confirmation, which is in a matter of what, 6 weeks? Yeah. 6 weeks. Kayla, I'll just use this as a shameless plug, okay? I think, and it's really valuable for your kids to stay involved at synagogue. High school is a wonderful place, but synagogue is a very safe place, and we are very nurturing here. And Kayla stayed on through her studies through 10th grade. And I want to say one thing all of you pretty much said. All of you said this, and it's very important. You said, when I was 12 and 13, basically you all said, I wouldn't have made this choice. You said, I wouldn't have done this. Lexi is unusual because she and her family chose this. But truthfully, that's unusual. And as a parent, I can tell you, if I let my children make most of the decisions of their behaviors in their life, where they are now would not have happened. And that's why we, as parents, sometimes are voluntelling, ordering around, and making decisions for our kids that we know when they're 40, they're going to appreciate. But when they're 12, they're not. And to be really specific, my kids wouldn't brush their teeth or flush the toilet unless I made them, okay? And I don't know why, but that's the way it is, okay? And I don't understand it, okay? But all of you parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles, all of you are here supporting your kids. I hope you see the educational value in they're here, they're reading in English, reading responsively, reading in Hebrew, and now I'm going to do just one aliyah, one Torah portion. When your child becomes bar bat mitzvah, they can do up to 7, okay, and each one is 3 sentences, and they'll read from the Torah, and we have several Torahs to read from, and for each honor, we'll have members of your family come up and say the blessing before and after, also,
right before Caleb processed with the Torah, that's when we have the parents give a speech to their child about whatever they want to say at that moment. Fortunately, all of you will have a rabbi. So everyone this year didn't have one. So, but they managed, so they're okay. But all of you will have the benefit of studying with Rabbi Edelman. So for the first Aliyah, we say, and the only Aliyah today, we're going to say the Torah blessings. And the Torah blessings can be found in your prayer book on page 368. Thanks, Magda. And this is a blessing that parents do at their child's B'nai Mitzvah. And so this will be something, keep in mind, you do. I can give you videos, I can give you tutorials, I can give you everything you need to learn on it, but this will be something you do. So, I feel like, here we go. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamborach. Everyone? Baruch Adonai Hamborach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah. I'm just going to read 3 sentences. If you want to follow, it's in the Plout commentary on 757. We're at the beginning of the book of Leviticus. Vayikra el Moshe vayelaber Adonai elav me'ohel moed lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta lehem Adam ki yakriv mikem korban l'Adonai min ha'bhema min ha'bakar u'min hatzon takrivu et korbanchem Imola korvano min habakar zachat tamim yakrivenu al petach ohel moed yakriv oto lirtzono lifnei Adonai v'samach yado al rosh ha'olah v'nirtza lo lechaper elav. And then we do the blessing after. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet V'chayei olam nata betochenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah. The child doesn't lift the Torah at their bar bat mitzvah, so I don't want anyone to get worried about that. But at this time, I lift it, and so if you guys could all please rise. V'zot ha'Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai V'yad Moshe V'zot ha'Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai v'yad Moshe. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. So what also happens when your child becomes bar bat mitzvah is they read another section called the Haftarah. So I'm going to find the Haftarah in this book. So the Plout commentary has literally the thinnest pages of paper I've ever seen in my entire life, of any book ever. And it looks like it's on page 978. So this is not the prayer book, this is that Torah commentary. Is that lining up in your book? Because mine is a different color also. Yours should be reddish, and mine is blue. 978. It'll say Isaiah 43. Okay, so like the Torah portion, it's like a prayer sandwich. You have the blessing, the aliyah, the blessing. Haftarah is the same way. There's the Haftarah blessing, the Haftarah, the blessing, okay? So remember, everyone starts their lessons with me way in advance, and they don't learn everything in 1 week. They learn a little bit each week. And those who study do more, and those who don't study stay where they're at. So it's up to each kid to try to study. But, so I'm going to start reading the Haftarah blessing before. Maybe some of you will remember it. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch Ata Adonai Abocher Batorah Moshe Avdo U'Yisrael Amo U'Vinvi'ei Ha'emet V'Tzedek. And that's a prayer we're also working on in class. So now I go to the Haftarah itself. Now, don't worry, you're not going to do all 40 sentences of this Haftarah. Just so you know, you're lucky you're not my child, because my own kids had to do all the lines of their own Haftarah, and it was 40 sentences. There was a lot of yelling. So, Amzu yatzarni li tehilati yisaperu velo oti karati Yaakov hiagta Bi Yisrael, lo heveta li se olatecha, uzvatchecha lo chidbartani, lo he'evaticha b'mincha, velo hogaticha bilvona, lo kanita li bakesef kaneh, bechelev zevechecha lo Hirvitani, he'evatani, v'chatotecha, hogatani, ba'avonotecha. Anochi, moche v'shachecha lemani, v'hatiotecha lo eskor. Hazkireni, Nishafta Yachad, Sapach Ata Lepman Sidak. And then the blessing after that, which also might be familiar. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Tzur kol ha'olamim, Sadik b'chol hadorot, Ha'el haneman, Ha'omer ve'oseh, Hamdaber umkayim, Shekol devarav emet v'tzedek, Al haTorah, V'al havodah, V'al hanvim, V'al yom haShabbat hazeh, Shenatata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Likdusha v'limnucha, Lechavod ultifaret, Al hakol, Adonai Eloheinu, Anachnu modim lach, Umevarchim otach, Yitbarach shimcha, B'fi kol hai tamid leolam vahed, Baruch ata Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. At that moment, your child will have completed all the Hebrew that they will be leading at their bar mitzvah. So, one of the things I didn't do was I didn't go into a deep Devar Torah, which hopefully your children will have a Devar Torah when they become bar mitzvah, and that's something the rabbi is going to work with them on. But basically, it's a summary of their Torah portion. It's talking about what they thought was interesting about it, what they think is important in ancient times, how they think it's relevant in the modern world, their mitzvah project, their volunteer project, what they learned from their mitzvah project, and what they learned from the entire process of becoming bar bat mitzvah, and then a little paragraph thanking everyone. Okay, so that's usually kind of what happens there. For this week's Torah portion, we started in the book of Leviticus. So it's Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Those are the 5 books of the Torah. And Leviticus has a lot of laws about the laws of the high priests, the ancient high priests, and the way that they prayed. And the way they prayed is different than the way we prayed, that we pray now. So most of us pray when our kids get a driver's license that they're going to come home safely, okay? That's where, okay? And we pray in that way, and some of us come to synagogue and pray. But in ancient times, they prayed by making animal sacrifices. And there's a very specific reason as to why. So it's very foreign to us to think about taking an animal and sacrificing it and burning it up. Okay, that's very foreign. So, but there are reasons why they did that. Does anyone know some of those reasons besides me and Magda? So, when you burn something up, okay, first of all, by the way, they ate a lot of the sacrifices, okay? So 2 things happen. When you like cook chicken and steak on your outdoor barbecue, what happens? It smells good, right? Okay? Right? So, oh my God, we're having that. It smells so good. Okay? It smells good. Number 2, you heat something up, it burns a little, and what happens when you burn things a little? There's smoke. Smoke rises. Okay? So in the Torah it says, Reach nichoach Elohim. The odor was pleasing to God. Okay? So we would burn up these little sacrifices, be like, oh, barbecue, okay? And it smelled great, and we would imagine, maybe it's true, that God also found that to be really pleasant, okay? The second thing that happened is that we very specifically in ancient times believed God was above us. We really don't know where God is, right? God could be around us, above us, behind us, inside us, within our relationships with one another, right? God could be so many places. And that's really up to each one of you to decide. But in ancient times, they were specific that God was above us. So the smoke would rise up, okay? And not only was the odor pleasing to God, but it was korban. A korban is a sacrifice. And it has the root in it karov, which means close. And that's how we got close to God. So that was the whole point of the animal sacrifices, was to get closer to God. And Leviticus specifically is about that. And there are many, many portions in Leviticus. And off the top of my head, I don't know where your kid's portion is, but they might have a portion in Leviticus. And of course, they'll work on interpreting that, with me and the rabbi. But the Haftarah, which I also just read, is read for reasons that we don't exactly know. So a lot of time in Judaism, we give you this reasoning. There was a time in our history where we were persecuted, we weren't allowed to do things, so we weren't allowed to read the Torah at some point. We substituted Haftarot, and then we came back to reading the Torah, and the Haftarot stayed. Okay, that's one reason we give for the reading of Haftarah. That might not be the reason. That's sort of our standard answer a lot, okay? Like when your kids say, why are you doing this? Because I told you so. Sometimes we give our standard answers, okay? But the rabbis like to say that the Haftarah is the first level of commentary, of interpretation of the Torah portion. And indeed, this Haftarah talks about the sacrifices, the meal offerings, the things that were talked about in the portion. And they're usually from the books that came after the Torah, from the book of Kings, the book of Judges, the book of Prophets. So they're all from these books. And we think it's important that your kid does a little of everything to have that experiential learning. So that's why you're bringing them here, and that's why we brought you to this service today, so you would experience all that. So after the Haftarah, that's when your kid does their fantastic speech, okay? And then people come up and say great things about your kid. So we usually have members of the brotherhood, the sisterhood, and the board. But this time, I'd like to invite our amazing educator, Magda, up just to say a few words on
some reflections. Not only is Magda a religious school principal, but she's a mother of 3 children and has a lot of wisdom to share experientially. She gives me a lot of good advice. If you ever need advice, go to Magda.
Wow, I don't think I can live up to this introduction. I stepped on your foot, sorry.
You totally live up to it. The mic is so loud, you might not need to pull it down, but you might need to pull it down. You'll see.
So, thank you so much for coming, everyone, on this morning. You know, you all were so wonderful in your speeches and sharing your thoughts and your experiences, but we never asked the cantor what her bat mitzvah experience was, if there was one.
No, I had one, yeah.
Oh, I would love to hear it.
Well, Kim was saying something that was very important before. She said that she didn't become a bat mitzvah formally because traditionally girls didn't become bat mitzvah, the boy in the family became. So my mother didn't have a bat mitzvah, but her brother did. And she always felt badly that she didn't get to have one. So, and my mother had 3 daughters, and she was determined to make sure we did all sorts of things that she didn't get to do. She made sure we learned to swim. She didn't know how to swim. She made sure we weren't afraid to fly in a plane. She made sure that we all became bat mitzvah. And so one of the things she said her whole life is that when she came to synagogue, she felt that she didn't know anything and that everyone else knew everything and that she never wanted us to feel that way. And so when I became bat mitzvah, it was, as some people said here as well, in a conservative synagogue. And I had a chazan, a cantor, and I had a rabbi, Yehiel Orenstein. And, you know, I always remember this myself. So the only thing I remember about my cantor, Chazan Levinson, is that he ate cookies my entire lesson. Which tells you about the 12-year-old mind, right? It's like what they actually remember, okay? So I hope I give a little more than that, but that, you know, that was a pleasant memory.
Do you offer cookies? Do you have a cookie?
He never
cart in
offered
your
me a
office?
cookie.
No. Do you have one in your
All
office?
the kids who come to me, if they're hungry, right, we go to the kitchen. You know that, right? And we have like 10,000 cookies here.
It's the most important place in this whole
It really is.
Yeah, I think so.
It really is. So Chazan Levinson, I had also, since I was a girl, I wasn't allowed to read Torah, only Haftarah. So my Haftarah portion was also from the book of Isaiah, not the same one that was read this week. And I actually published a story. There's an author, Barbara Simons, who's coming to our synagogue,
Yes.
about, there's more to it, and I don't want to even bore you, about my becoming a bat mitzvah. And now I'm in her book about sort of what happened to me. But I will tell you one other thing. My rabbi, Yehiel Orenstein, his daughter was one of the first conservative women rabbis. And he was very egalitarian and very into women doing things. And again, I remember giving my speech, and I remember I had a little pink hat on, but one of the most profound memories of my bat mitzvah, and I'm going to go over and do it with you, Magda, was when the rabbi blessed me. So I was in front of the ark, and the rabbi put his hands on me, and he blessed me. And I felt something very powerful at that moment. And that's what we do with the kids here. And that's one of the most important things that happened for me. And we want to make sure that all of your kids get that. So that was a little bit about my bat mitzvah.
Oh, it's wonderful. Thank you.
But cookies, yes.
Cookies. We'll remember cookies. So I just wanted to add that some of you mentioned that at 13, you don't realize the importance and the meaning of what you're doing. It kind of comes later. So I've called on Kayla so many times, but she's our testament to keep going. Bar mitzvah is a wonderful life cycle in Judaism, but you gain more meaning as you mature. You can only understand what you're learning as a 12-year-old, but we have so many more opportunities. In Judaism, you never stop learning. You just keep going. I'm still learning from the cantor because she just taught me something new all the time. So it's
Vice
great.
versa.
So, Kayla is in 10th grade in confirmation, which is the end of our formal religious school training. And so I would encourage everyone, it's a continuous kind of a journey. The other thing I wanted to add is to offer my thanks to all our 6th grade teachers. Cantor Clissold spends Wednesdays and Sundays with our 6th graders. They will be great. They were great, and they will be great when it comes time for them to individually come up on the bima. And Rachel Ingber, who is here, she's a 6th grade teacher on Wednesdays, midweek. And if your child came home kind of sugared this past Wednesday, you can talk to Rachel about that one. She is amazing, and they made matzo brie on Wednesday.
They made them like a matzo brie pancake.
Yeah, so it's
Which is, Rachel, how your family does it? But Magda, your family doesn't do it then.
We
break it up.
We break it up.
Yeah.
So it's not only Hebrew and prayer, it's being
Not at all.
Jewish.
Yeah.
Is such a wonderful, deep experience, and that's what we try to give the kids here. I think that's it for me. Thank you so much.
I just want to say, I really appreciate everybody, reading all Magda's emails, because you're all very busy, but if you read what we send you, there's actually important things in it. It's not just sort of filler, and it enables you to show up and have your kid be at all these meaningful things. So keep reading her emails.
Reading my email.
Keep reading them. And thank you, Magda. Thank you. We're just going to have a little closing song now. If it were a bar bat mitzvah, okay, you want that one? Okay. Okay, we'll do that one. Okay, all right. I'm into it. We're gonna do that one. We're just gonna have a little closing song, but at this point also, sometimes people throw candy at the child. Okay, that's optional. That's up to your family. To hit, not to hit them. I think people get hit a lot, but we've never had an injury. Okay, but yeah, so that's optional, the candy thing, and I don't think it really hurts. But who am I to judge?
I noticed that the rabbi can't just stand aside.
I absolutely moved to the side. I don't want to take the sweetness away from the child. And then you're given some gifts. You're given candlesticks. You're given a Kiddush cup. You're given a book that actually is good to read. I found some parents have been reading it too. It's a really magical experience. Hopefully you'll invite your friends. And your friends may or may not ever have been to a Jewish synagogue before. They may never, ever come to one again. And they may never have been to a bar bat mitzvah before. So it's super important to include your friends and see how fabulous, what you do as a Jew is. Because we live in a world that's not very Jewish. But being Jewish is a special gift. And one that we want you to take on as your own. So the Pattersons had a great idea. We're gonna do David Melech as our closing song. Okay, so many of you grew up with the hand jive in public school to different music, but we do it to David Melech. So here we go. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai V'Kayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai V'Kayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai V'Kayam. They were faster. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai V'Kayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai V'Kayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai V'Kayam. Can we go faster? David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai V'Kayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai V'Kayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai V'Kayam. That's great. Great for neural health. Good job, everyone. All right, so Shabbat Shalom. Magda, are there any bagels and things left? Or
Definitely.
Okay, there's a lot of food left. And cookies.
The kids get to pick the song at the end.
Kids get to pick this. the kids get to look at a group of songs and pick within the group. Right, the kids get to pick their top Jewish song. Yes, yeah, that's a good point. Also, I try to have the kids pick the part of the portion they want to read from the Torah. Many of you, most of you have interreligious families, and we completely include all sides of the family. We just don't make the non-Jews do any Hebrew, okay? So we just torture the Jewish people with that. And it's a process. And yes, the ceremony is important, but the journey is really important. So Shabbat Shalom. Thanks everybody for coming. Thank you.